for a few years there, back and forth to Hawaii, where I also held residence for 12 years. But I've been here for a long time. I was originally an executive hotel food and beverage management, and I worked many years for many restaurants and hotels, such as the Tokyo Bay Hilton, Tokyo American Club, Roy's Restaurants. Opened other restaurants and lived in 9 different places, from Okinawa to Guma to Yokohama to Chiba to Tokyo. I presently live in Osaka, where 3.5 years ago I started a tour guiding company for English speaking foreign guests. Uh, the company ran very well for 2 years. Third year was about to get out of debt, and pandemic hit. So here we are. And so last year I started a Hawaii news channel. Since I lived in Hawaii for a long time, I started a Hawaii news channel in Japanese, for people that love Hawaii, and that actually there's a lot of Japanese people that live in Hawaii don't speak any English, and in Honolulu you don't have to actually. So and then I got a barbecue channel going by summer, teaching Japanese people how to barbecue. So I'm a pit master. I love pork shoulder, pulled pork, brisket, things like that. I do all kinds of things, trying to get ideas. Weber Japan partially sponsors me and sends me grills and charcoal and all kinds of fun stuff to keep me going. And we do a lot of fun stuff. This last year I really haven't had much to do, so I've been YouTubing. I've also got a spirit, my own company, which we created 3.5 years ago. Spirits of Japan is actual like an LLC kind of company. I'm the only employee, and I do custom made tours of the Kansai area of Japan. And since there's been no revenue, I went ahead and made another talking about the imperial lineage. So, because Japan's imperial lineage is the oldest imperial lineage on the earth, and the history goes to back 2,680 years, and there's just a lot to talk about. So, but one thing I think I was missing was the expat community here in Japan. There's being in executive management in the Tokyo American Club. I also realize there's a lot of families that come over and they get into Japan a little, but they kind of stay in their little, in the American Club. They do their things there, and they have their other expat community friends that they, kind of built a life around. And they like to know a little more. They just don't have a lot of Japanese friends. And I figured, well, what the hell, in this for people that are just gotten here also. And figured, well, what the hell? Let's do a little, since I like to talk, I'm a tour guide. Figured during sake time, I'll retreat to my tatami room here, drink some sake, and talk about issues regarding Japan that may or may not affect foreign visitors and foreign residents. But what the hell? Yesterday, I kind of threw out an introductory idea about this. My daughter was playing in the background and screaming, so it was kind of hard to talk. I'm kind of retreated back to our room, my little this is my little secret room back in here. And I can't move things around. And I got a little tatami room here that I sit back in here, and I sit at my Japanese table on the ground, and it's got a heater underneath, and I got my little blanket here, and we're all comfortable. But I've been a practicing Lotus Sutra Buddhist for 38 years, I guess. Been in Japan since 1983, off and on for about 15 years when I lived in Hawaii. And that was about every other month. Every month we come over, bringing people here to do tours and taking people back there to do tours. So perpetuating Hawaiian culture at that time. So I've worked with Japanese for almost 40 damn years. I've drank with sumo wrestlers. I've been to Ginza bars with prime ministers. I've had a bed and breakfast up in Guma for a couple of years. That was a great opportunity we should have kept. I've done a lot of stuff. I really have. I've done a lot of stuff in food and beverage management 20 years and now tour guiding for 20 years. I've met a lot of interesting people and had a lot of great opportunities. And I share those as we go along and talk about this stuff. So I figure I'll do this program every day or every other day, kind of get a rhythm, see how it goes. I know I'm probably talking to nobody right now, which is okay because it's a brand new channel. But we're going to pretend like there's 1,000 people out there. So we're going to go ahead and talk. If you do have Anchor, I am up on Anchor now, Anchor, and I'll have Japan's. I forget the name of the damn channel. Japan, Richard's Japan Talk Story or something like that. And we'll talk about, like I said, different issues. And if you have a suggestion, a question, and just keep it clean. Yeah, I curse, but I'm talking about subject matter. If you do have a question like that, I'll go ahead and address it if it's okay with everybody. But I'll try to keep it as clean as possible. Hey, I was the first guy for the Japanese Yakuza to open the first Japanese only for Japanese, not just customers, but Japanese girls. Japanese girls also wanted to work in the topless industry, like down in Roppongi, Seventh Heaven, and places like that. But they were always, kind of ousted out by the big girls, European girls, Americans, and there's things going on there that drugs and stuff the girls couldn't really deal with. So we made a club called Cleone for Japanese only. Now I think Tantrum has been going for 20 something years now, but Cleone was the original club that we did down in Roppongi, and I was the opening general manager for that, pre-opening manager. So like I said, I've done a lot. I've served fine dining, had bed and breakfast. We call that mizu shobai, which is kind of that that nighttime district life, so I'm very familiar with that. I was a bodyguard. I took Aikido for 14 years. So I'm a multiple degree black belt in Aikido. And so I did a lot of, not a lot, Fukuoka and Okinawa and in Yokohama a couple times for bodyguard for Yakuza and stuff like that. And so, again, I got an interesting perspective on things. So yesterday we kind of talked about the Morty issue. Morty was, he's out. He's out. He's not going to be given another. If you don't know, I'm talking about ex-Prime Minister Morty, who was in charge of the Tokyo Olympics. And then he said all these sexist statements about women take too long at meetings and talk too much and all that stuff. He got his ass kicked by his, at least chewed out by his wife and his daughter. And then so he said, okay, I'll relinquish it. I'll make it all good. He acted like he said, I'm sorry, but in Japanese, I don't care what the English articles say. He did not apologize. He did not apologize. He just kind of, well, yeah, that was bad. Maybe that's, maybe, you always see that American comedies. So, was that bad? Was that bad? And so with pressure from above, he said, okay. And so he went out drinking with his buddy Kawabuchi or Gucci or whatever that guy's name was, a year older. So, Morty was 83 and the other guy's 84. Hey, take this over and make me a consultant. He goes, I'll make you a consultant, And Sodan something. I forget what Sodan means. Mama de nani Sodan nani? Sodan shigoto. Nan no shigoto? Sodan. Mori ga shigoto yameta toki ni Sodan yaku. Sodan yaku is called, like a consulting. And so they're buddies and they're drinking. They're okay. So, and then everybody didn't like that. They said, no. So he tried to get another guy who was 85. So they keep going up the ladder here. And as well as I do. And, I'm not, I kind of follow Australian politics and the whole prime minister deal with how many years and so many prime ministers changing and the whole Boris Johnson deal. I try to follow. I got a lot of customers from around. We talk politics, but America, Japan, problem is they got just old guys up there that make it for people that they're not even in touch with. So finally they Hashimoto Seiko, I think is her name. She was a Olympian and she's she's kind of weird. There was a skater that won this Olympic medal, and she went up and kissed him right on the lips for a long time. And she's like, he's like in 20s, and she's in her 50s. And it's okay, hey. They're all little. It's like the Biden thing, smelling the little girl's hair. And I don't like Trump either. So it's both of everybody's got their weird, I don't know. It's like you get up there and then you get weird, I guess. I don't know. It's the water, it's the air they pump into the buildings. I don't know what goes on, but everybody gets a little fruity when they get up there. But this Hashimoto woman's not going to give Modi a position. So, with all that said and done, that's good. If you got any questions or takes on that later on, just let me know and we'll talk about it again. What I wanted to talk about was this whole COVID response here in Japan. And we all have known what the different countries have done. But I just want to go over and put this on tape, if you will, about exactly where we came from and where we are today with this whole COVID response thing. Because we're going to go into a different scenario with all this stuff coming up here in the future. And before I get started, just a little more sake is not going to hurt, is it? So here's the deal. When this all first came out, when that whole Diamond Princess started, okay, and then, still pisses me off that they count the number of Diamond Princess people, and they shouldn't, because those people contracted COVID, what they call Shingata coronavirus, the corona here in this country. They contracted in a different country. Yeah. And we're quarantined on the ship. But when that other thing all started, and then my tour started dropping off in February, it was just falling, and I'm like, what's going on? Everybody was trying to put it in perspective. In March, it just wiped us out from March. We lost, I think, 67 or 68% of our revenue in February, and then we lost 99% in March, and then it was gone. So with that said, the first response, and I don't want you guys to forget this. The first response from the Abe administration, do you remember? The first response, they all got together and said, what the hell we do? What the is going on? Okay, well, let's give steak coupons. Do you remember that? Wagyu steak coupons. That was their first response to this. And about 3 or 4 days later, they came out and they went, the crab industry is also suffering. We need to give crab coupons too. Hokkaido crab coupons. We'll do the Wagyu steak. Oh my God, we've got it set up. We're going to feed people. The people are like, what are you talking about? Then the third, the Abe mask. Now I still have an Abe mask in my drawers over there, and unopened. I'm gonna keep it because it's going to be something in 20 years, a big joke in 20 years, probably even worse something. But that whole deal with Aso, the finance minister, having stock in some place in Malaysia that's making the mask, and he's making money off all this. It's all about who can make money off of what. And then they finally gave the $1,000 person, no matter who you are. Instead of saying, okay, you need to go into your city office and say, hey, I have been directly impacted by the COVID virus. I had a restaurant right next to, this temple that everybody goes to, and now that nobody goes to it because the foreigners are all gone. I was directly impacted. Or I worked for a restaurant that was directly impacted. Or I was a tour guide. So up till today, they still haven't looked at tour guides. They don't give a shit about tour guides. I have made zero money. I've gotten, because I was a company, but like right now during the emergency proclamation or declaration or whatever the hell they call it, restaurants here under that get $600 a day, whether they're open or closed. Right? Tour companies get zero. Oh, I'm sorry. Big companies like ANA and HIS and JTB, the government bought stock in their companies in order to transfer money to them. But people like me have got zero. And we're the first line of assistance when people come in. First thing you do, okay, we're here. We need a guide. That's the first thing they do. So, but all that aside, because I could bitch about that for another 20 minutes or so. But the deal is that they said, okay, we'll give $1,000 a person. So they gave that $1,000 a person, and then there were different programs, and we lived off of 2020, off of different programs, and squeaked through. We squeaked through, and I always knew January was going to be bad, and it was. January was bad because there was no more programs, there was no more assistance, there was no more let's give money. And you've seen the list of different countries that have given money: Canada, New Zealand, and France, and Germany. They've given their people money. Um, for this Kona assistance, and monthly. But Japan and also asshole, I can't pronounce it right. No money, no more money, no, 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 no. And now here we are, all the way down to here. Now Suga gets changed into the new prime minister. And you've heard his nickname, Sugalin, like he acts like Stalin, so Sugalin. And this guy wasn't born with a silver spoon in his mouth like Aso and Abe. He was he had a regular, he knows how the regular people live. Hell, his standard his motto is Kokumin no tame ni hataraku. I will work for the Japanese citizen. And then so no money. He comes on board, and everybody's hoping, oh, there's gonna be some more money, a little bit more. No, nothing. And you do your rolls around, and then he goes and says to everybody, he goes, look, we need, I want all the banks, and I want the government lending agencies, which I have loans from because I had to survive, right? Between the programs and these loans and stuff like that, we survive. Why the hell do I have to borrow money in order to survive during a pandemic? That's not my fault, but we do what we have to do, right? So he comes on and says, I want everybody to borrow up to $400,000, get what you need. And if you need to change your job, if you need to change your industry, go do it. So I'm looking at my wife, and we have this barbecue channel, and I'm a pit master, and I said, what the hell? Why don't we get a little freaking kitchen car? Food truck. And why don't we do that? So we put up a business plan, and I put up a substantial business plan because I figure if I put in this much, they'll say this much, right? And I go down to the government agency, and she goes, no, it's too expensive. No, I'm sorry. You need to make it cheaper, and we can work with you. I go, fuck, yeah, shit. So I knock it down to about $90,000, and then we go in again, and we drop it, and we say, hey, what do you think? And she's at that time, no, I'm still too expensive. So my wife asked her, well, how much do you think it would be okay to ask for? And $30,000. We can work with that. Great. So we make another program. We go around. We find these little cars and what we could do and how we could barbecue and use I got like 3 barbecue grills. And I said, okay, we'll do that. They denied it, saying I don't have experience in a kitchen car or a food truck. Now, so all these other people, there are many, 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 many people that heard the same thing. That if you want to change, it's not like I'm quitting this and doing kimono dresses or something that I have no experience in, something I have experience in. And as an assistant food and beverage director and manager and opening hotels and restaurants and all that other stuff, I figured I would have that experience to be able to open up a fucking food truck. And it was denied, even though Suga said it was okay. So now here we are with other people in my mindset that are thinking, wow, I can do the same thing. Now, when I went to I think it was the first time that I went to apply, there was a Japanese businessman in there, and he was sitting talking to the same lady I had been talking to. And man, he was mad. He was so mad. He was just, and he hit the table and he took his stuff, and he bowed and he walked out. And I go, oh, wow, too bad. Too bad for that guy. What happened? I had the same woman. I'm like, oh no, So I don't know what it is. I have no idea what it is. But what they offered what Suga said. And Suga, it's just like this emergency proclamation. I don't know why I got that in my head. Declaration saying, stay home. It's not a rule. They can't come around and give you a not being at home. They can't come around and give you a citation for not closing at 8 p.m. You know, it's just a declaration, and the laws of Japan protect you on that. Okay, so they can't force you. So it's the same thing when Sugilin says something, it's not really a requirement of the banks. But you would think if he said that, there would be a program the banks already know about that we don't know about, that if so and so customer A, B, and C come in and borrow, 30,000, 40,000, and 30,000 respectively, and they don't end up paying it back for whatever reason, that the program will have money to back up the bank. So that's why they're telling the bank in the first place to loan out the money. That is it's just off the top of my head. That would be the idea. But evidently, I'm an idiot. I have no idea what the hell's going on back there. So many people like me had the same issue. So they corner Sugilin and they say, look, what's going on? And hey, you really got a problem? Go get welfare. Welfare. It's Japan's, it's your last line of protection, and they will take care of you. Now, I grew up when I was a little boy. My mom was on welfare. I believe she also worked under the table in a restaurant for 44 years, doing the kitchen. So I know what food stamps look like. And so I'm thinking, talking to my wife, I go, what's welfare program like in Japan? And the more I heard, and she listens to a lot of Japanese talk radio, and then I'm listening to Japanese talk radio, and it's just not one different program. It's like 4 or 5 different programs. And I'm listening to these guys talk, and I'm just freaking out. So I go down to the city office, and we talk about it. I said, what if, what you have to do if you got on welfare? What do you do? And they confirmed everything that these other guys said. Are you ready? Sit down. Say you go on welfare. You only have a 20% chance of getting it. It's just you don't go sign up and go, oh, no, I lost my money and I don't have money to eat. They'll look at you and interview you a few times and then determine in their mind, the ones that get the government check and get to eat every day, in their mind, whether, I guess that guy or gal can get the money. So you only have, in all of Japan, every 100 people that go ask for welfare, only 20 get it on average. Does Sugilin know this? I'm not done. So say you're a household of 4 people. And like my friend in Hyogo, which is west of Osaka, is Kobe above Kobe, had a ramen restaurant, right? So he has a house, and underneath he has a ramen restaurant. And it's right beside the temple. There's nobody coming. It's had closed. Now, Osaka has another emergency declaration, but Hyogo didn't have one. So Osaka's dumping out $600, a day. A day. For these people, whether open or closed. But Hyogo, he's shit out of luck. So if he happens to go down to the welfare office and go, I need some help for a few months until this storm passes over. No. You are required, number one, to give up your freaking car. Yeah. You are required to give up your car unless you live in an area of Japan that's not accessible by train or bus. Yeah, I'm going to let that just sink in a little bit. You're required to give it up. And then the house that you're living in, say you got a mortgage, you got to give it up. Say you're living in a house and you're paying $1,500 a month for rent. Okay, say you're paying $150,000 in a month to live in this nice condominium. And you're thinking, oh shit, maybe I'll go to the rental assistance program. So you go to the rental assistance program and they'll tell you, we can give you how many percent of this, and then you make up the rest, but we pay it directly to the the landlord, and then you take care of the rest. And there's those programs. I mean, we were on that program 9 months. 9 months, and then the $700. Now I live in Osaka, North Osaka, which is cheap, and we have a pretty big house apartment for 700, but they were paying 550. But now that 550, I was always wondering. It's three people, and it's 550. It's 1,500 per person plus 10. All right. So if you go down, if we went to the welfare office and said, "Hey, we need some help for a few months until we can get through," our $700 house, 50. So you are required to move, and they will pay the moving cost. They will pay the what's called the shikikin and the reikin, the different types of deposit that you need, which can jam up to like $6,000, $7,000 plus your $4,000, $5,000 moving costs. They'll take care of it all. Instead of just taking care of your rent and say, look, if you're on it for 6 months, we'll take 100% of your rent and take care of it. You're on it for a year, we'll take, after the 6 month, we'll take care of 80% of your rent. And then, so instead of having a program like that, they have these programs that were built back in or put together in back in the 50s and 60s, and they're still moving along today. So even though the cost of living has gone up and apartment rents have gone up, the amount of money that you can live. I mean, a family of three in a $550 apartment, I can't imagine. It'd be one room. I just can't. And then they take your car. So my friend Hyogo, for $1,500, family of four, he's not allowed anything over $700 for a family of four. That's like a one room and a half and a bath and a kitchen, maybe a half kitchen. So it's horrible. So for the prime minister of Japan to look at his citizens with his model stating, I work for the citizens of Japan, and to tell them, go to the welfare office, they'll lose everything. And then say, for example, say you qualify for $2,500 a month, all right? Let's say the family of four, right? My friends in Hyogo, they qualify for $2,500 a month. And then so 700 of that goes away. Anything over that $1,900 that they make, say he got a catering job, say something, he has to report. And then they just minus that. So there's no way ever. They say, okay, look, you can make $1,000 over what we're going to give you in order so you can get better, so you can improve your life again. No, you can't. You can't do that. So it's once you're in that rut, you're fucking in that rut. You're stuck. So this is what's happening in Japan. And this is why suicides are going to rise. This is why poverty is going to rise. This is why burglary, domestic violence, and everything's going to fly out the fucking roof because of accusations, statements made by the prime minister like this. And, it just, I guess we only have to worry about 20% of those people because the other 80% aren't going to be allowed to be on welfare. For whatever reason. And I don't know. I don't know what reason. They may have legitimate reasons. That might be just a statistic thrown out there because 10 people came in and 8 of them were dumbasses. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm just saying that's what your average is. When you walk in there, you already know that. Shit, man, if I get this, woo, I mean, that's bottom pile shit right there, And you can't get out of it unless you just lie or get paid under the table cash, or you're lucky enough to get a loan to get out of it and pull yourself out of that rut again. But that is where we are today because there's no more stimulus coming in. There's no more programs out there for people. They're not trying to do anything yet. Some executive people are going down to hostess clubs in Ginza, eating $500 steaks, aren't they? Having a good life. So I always thought that the government's responsibility was to protect its weakest citizens, and that would be number one to me. Would be your children and your in Hawaii they say kupuna. What do you say in Japanese? It's nenpai. Your old elderly folks. Okay, so most of these elderly folks already have their money coming in, from the um, from their taxes, for their income tax, Social Security, whatever that is. They have money coming in. So most of those guys aren't affected anyway. So okay, we take our attention to the kids. So if you have kids and you have money, like I have some friends that live, I don't know, two train stations away. They live in a freaking $1.2 million condominium. He's an IT specialist, and shit, they got tons of money. He says, I don't know why I'm getting this money. Him and his wife and his son, they got 30,000 yen, 300,000 yen, $3,000. I said, well, you don't need it. You can send it this way, or at least give it to charity or something. Well, no, I'm going to use it. You know what I mean? It's just so it's just so bad. And I've always been very proud of Japan. I dreamt of Japan, 12, 13 years old. I dreamt of samurai before I knew what a samurai was. I saw my first samurai movie when I was 13 years old. Didn't know it was a Kurosawa movie at the time. Man, tears to my eyes. I watched it 7, 8, 9 times over the course of a weekend. I got in the military, and I graduated top 3 in my class. They gave you a wish list where you want to go, and you get 3 choices. I wrote Japan, Japan, Japan. And I was F-15 crew chief on F-15 fighters. Came to Japan. I've been here ever since. Yeah, I've had multiple wives. I have a lot of kids. I have 6 kids, 4 which are adults. And my oldest is 29. My youngest is 4.5. I mean, this is where I want to die. This is where I love and want to be, and training in Aikido and studying Buddhism and the culture, the people, and I live in a what do they call it? It's not an apartment, and it's not a what they call mansion, which is a condominium. It's a heights, so it's a bigger than an apartment, not as big as a condominium, but there's only 6 people that live in this entire building, so it's really really nice. And I have a garden. A garden. I have a place where I got my barbecue area set up, and it's big enough to put a big tent. And I got barbecue pits out there, and I smoke and barbecue and feed everybody around. And the guy who lives across from me, 75, 79, 70, he'll be 79 this year. Made good friends with him. Him and I and his wife were really good friends. The guy who grows rice across from me on the other side became good friends, and he let me use that area for earth oven when he got all his rice, and made a big earth oven. We cooked some pigs in there, some chickens and stuff like that. And he brought me firewood the other day. He said, I got some firewood if you want. I make friends wherever I go. And the people, I love the people, I love everything. There's not, outside of fermented soybeans, man, there's not a lot I don't like about Japan. But I myself, I only wear Japanese clothes, by the way. I wear what this is called a jinbei. It's a short legged version of what's called a samurai, which is a full length version. And the one above that's kimono. So those 3 things I wear. I wear samurai. When it's cold, I wear jinbeis, which are kind of short pants version of this in the summer and the fall. And then I wear kimono on special occasions. But, I've never been more disappointed in this country than I have watching this whole scenario work its way out. So that's again, these first few videos are going to be like this. I'm going to talk. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give you the news. I may put my experiences in there, or experiences of other people I know. I'll throw them in there. And once this gets going and people start hopping on and stuff like that from between Anchor, and then you can watch my live channel on both YouTube, and then on YouTube is the Japan Talk Story. And then my Facebook, which is Richard Hawk Hawkins Holomua. Excuse me, sake's getting to me. I just ate a bunch of hummus too. So that all, you'll be able to type right in. It'll pop right up here, and we'll be able to start conversing like I do with my other channels. So I know it's going to take 6 months or so. I don't really care. Just here, this is a place for me to talk, and if people hop on and want to make friends and subscribe, thank you very much. If not, I'll run it out 6 months, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if you're interested, subscribe, like, tell your friends. Again, I'm pretty easygoing. I don't have a real mindset of I'm not very very conservative, and I'm not very very liberal. I'm conservative on some things, and I'm liberal on some things. Um, I think at the end of the day, we just do what's right and what's good for the people around you, because in the morning you still have to live with those people. So there's nothing that we can do on this earth by ourselves. You need somebody. I always tell my customers the term itadakimasu. Have you heard this term? Before you eat, you say itadakimasu. Itadaku means to take part in. I'm going to itadaku. Okay, and that means that when before you eat, you're already understanding that anything that has been set in front of you has taken 40 or 50 people to prepare to bring in front of you. I mean, you didn't go out and make the rice, and you didn't go out and slaughter the pig, and you didn't go out and grow the peppers and the onions. That there was a bunch of people and farmers and distributors and truck drivers and truck driver whether men or women, and people that pull the plants and all that. There's so many people in the chefs and this and that and that. 40 or 50 people at every dish you eat. So when you say itadaku, you're telling everybody along the line, I am now taking part in this process, which I think is such a cool word. I think it's so, we don't have that in English. Some people that are Christian may say, oh, God, thank you, Jesus, thank you. And there's a guy in Mexico named Jesus going, hey, no problem. It's a joke. It's a joke. Okay. Instead of thanking some kind of thing that you never see, you're saying thank you to everybody that put their hands on this, and you're appreciating that. And I think that's we don't really realize that everything we do, whether we're taking a train or a bus or shopping or all these things that we do, and we have our routines. It's so many people that were involved in preparing that thank you. You don't get a chance to say it. You just, oh, that Starbucks is going to be there every morning when I go get my Frappuccino. And it's a big conglomerate. The guy beside you, it's a big conglomerate. Don't eat there. But still, that was a dream one day. It was a dream, and so many people came together to provide that. It's just amazing. I mean, what's the alternative? Living in the mountains or down by the ocean by yourself and just fishing. Can you do it? I grew. I lived off the grid, so I know how to live. But I still don't think it'd be hard not to do with other people. You still need somebody to help you do something. So, and that's why these programs are going to be successful, is by other people. Chiming in and talking. So giving me your 2 cents. Hey, Devin, what's up, man? That's my. You're probably the first guy for this particular channel, so to chime in. So it's good to see you. So we'll do this in English. All my other channels are in Japanese, and we'll see how it goes. We've done 38 minutes now. My other channel, some of them last almost an hour. So like I said, those are in Japanese, and I do it with my wife, so she has a lot to talk about herself. So what we'll do is, you got any other questions, any things you want to research or anything like that? I think it'll take 6 months to get up to probably 80 or 90, 100 people. And again, let me know how you feel, and we'll talk about Japan. Those who love Japan, who live in Japan, and want to know about Japan. So thank you guys very much. Devin, again, thank you very much for chiming in there. And we'll talk to you guys very soon. And we'll try to get this going every day if we can. And until then, as they say in Japan, sayonara.